Hello, friends, and welcome into NFL Daily. It is mailbag time on today's show, beginning with Teddy Swagger using hashtag NFL. With Christian McCaffrey becoming the highest paid running back ever, does Derrick Henry get that bag next? Now, I guess it depends on if you mean will Henry get paid. I think, yes, someone will. But will Henry be the highest paid back in the NFL? Now, in many and frankly most cases, it's not the best player who ends up being the highest paid player because, well, the salary cap tends to go up, contracts continue to rise. The top player, or at least one of the top players, ends up getting paid the most amount of money. Now, the Titans tagged Henry at $10.3 million. McCaffrey's deal, meanwhile, was just over $16 million per year. The Titans and Henry have until July 15th to work out a long-term deal. Otherwise, Henry has to play on the franchise tag. Can Henry approach or surpass that $16 million a year price tag? Will his deal look a little bit more like a Zeke Elliott's or a Lev Bell? Will the Titans factor in the franchise tag as part of an extension, allowing them to keep Henry's deal lower this year? It's all certainly possible. The Titans have options here. It's an interesting spot for Tennessee because they run the football a lot. So have the Cowboys, so have the Panthers, not so much for the Jets. Would they want to make Henry the highest paid guy after giving Ryan Tannehill a big deal? Henry's been fairly healthy. He's a big guy. He should hold up pretty well. So would you make Henry the highest paid back in the NFL? I think, of course, Tennessee would prefer not to. That's probably what Henry wants, though. So cast your votes for me in the comments. Y for yes, N for no. If you guys have not already heard, we have launched our new channel challenge. We've built out channels for all 32 NFL teams. So what you guys should do is sub to your favorite team. In the description, there are links for all 32 teams. You can also just go to chatsports.com/teamtv, find them all, but it's pretty straightforward. 100 subs for your favorite team equals a video. So tell a friend, check those descriptions for links, and rep your favorite team and see if they can become the next channel here at Chat Sports. As we get to a trade idea now around, well, of course, it's Jamal Adams. Dimitri Castillo. If I mispronounced the last name, I'm sorry. The Jets get Kenny Stills and a 2021 second-round pick. Texans get Jamal Adams and a fourth. The Jets say no to this because even if you value Kenny Stills at a fourth-round pick, which I don't think anyone does, that's Jamal Adams straight up for a second. It has to begin with a first-round selection. Now, Kenny Stills or a different receiver does make some sense for the Jets to acquire as part of an Adams trade, but it's tricky for Houston because they have no first-round pick. It's very difficult for it to actually pull off. So maybe Will Fuller, an extra pick and a second without a fourth going back, makes more sense. So do you guys think the Jets are going to trade Jamal Adams? Kind of an awkward spot here for New York. Plenty of smoke around it. But, of course, smart teams just want to, pay their franchise guys. Speaking of Adams, Zach Christian wants to know, how about the Cardinals or the Detroit Lions as a possibility for a Jamal Adams trade? Again, in general, Jamal Adams, nothing has really changed. The Jets want to pay him. They haven't done so yet. They're kind of trying to take their time here. They will listen to trade offers. Detroit and Arizona, I think, do count as potential sleepers. That makes some sense to me in terms of what those teams need, the assets that they have. Detroit kind of has added some safeties in recent years. Might not make the most sense. I think Arizona's going to play Isaiah Simmons at linebacker, so it's possible. I'm just not convinced that the Jets are really going to end up moving on from him in the end. Now, everyone in the comments, go down to the pin comment and let me know what your favorite NFL team is. Shout them out, rep them, and then we'll send you the link for the newly launched, but not yet with any videos on there, team channel for your favorite team. That's the pin comment. So to get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and shout out your favorite team. From Dylan Duncan, who would you rather have, Godwin and Evans or Cooper and Lamb? So I always read that as Goodwin. I don't know why I always do that. I always have to catch myself. Well, for starters, it's really a discussion between Cooper and Gallup because Gallup has proven himself as a really, really good NFL wide receiver and should probably stop being overlooked. That said, there isn't a duo in the NFL that I'm taking before Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Both of them are legitimate number one receivers. Both of them are very concerning for opposing defenses. They have good hands. They're reliable. Evans is a little bit bigger. They're awesome. And you could have argued Diggs and Thielen, and frankly, I probably would have before last year. Not anymore. I don't think there's a better duo at receiver in the NFL than the two Bucs guys. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, then you throw in Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and Gronk, and there might not be a better overall receiving core in the NFL than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next up from Alex Carden. Do you think Jadeveon Clowney could go to the Cowboys if they have the cap space? It seems like money isn't what he wants. He rejected the Browns' huge offer. So there's some truth in this. I'll start with the Cowboys side and talk about Clowney in general. The Cowboys haven't shown interest. If Clowney just wants to go to a good team, he would have done so already. If it was only about the fit, he would have taken a very cheap offer and not worried about the money. There is interest in money from Clowney. He is, though, looking at certain teams. He wants a high-priced offer from a competitive team. I guess the Browns don't fit that. The Dolphins didn't fit that when they wanted to trade for him and pay him. Clowney's market never materialized in the way that he wanted it to. Now, my suspicion is that he used the Browns more as leverage, trying to get more money from a different NFL team. At this point for Clowney, what makes the most sense? A one-year prove-it deal, probably with a contender, to try and cash in again next offseason. So with that in mind, everyone predict in the comments section for me. Where will Clowney play this upcoming season in 2020? The Browns have been linked. The Ravens have had at least some semblance of linkage there. The Eagles, too. The Seahawks remain a potential option there. Well, fire off and let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Now, the unfortunate reality for the 2020 NFL season, probably going to have to wear masks if we're actually able to go to games. So get one right now for your favorite NFL team. There is a bit of a backlog in terms of waiting, so get in line now. Chatsports.com/stay safe. NFL face coverings, the masks for all 32 NFL teams. They got a whole bunch of styles as well right now. It's chatsports.com/stay safe. Check them out today. Get in line and get yours today. And that link, by the way, in the comments and in the description. From Carlos Topetti, I don't actually pronounce your last name, Carlos, so if I got it wrong, I'm terribly sorry. How big of an impact do you think Mike McCarthy will have on the Dallas Cowboys? Hopefully a pretty significant one, because the Jason Garrett era was limited by Garrett. The conservativeness, the lack of adjustments, the flexibility wasn't great. And I think from a top-down perspective, you'll see McCarthy's influence, specifically on offense. Although Kellen Moore is still the Cowboys' offensive coordinator, he's still going to be the play caller. So for McCarthy and the Cowboys, they went with the veteran to try and win right now. They didn't go with the young coach to allow him time to kind of ramp up and adjust to the NFL. They went all in on trying to win within that 5-year contract for McCarthy, but NFL contracts can be easily fired from a coach. It doesn't impact the salary cap. But hopefully there is a big impact, at least if you're a Cowboys fan. From Corey Brass, will the Eagles cut Alshon Jeffrey this season? I'm not sure. There's some major monetary implications here for the Eagles. He has a $446 million cap hit. If the Eagles cut him, even making him a post-June 1st cap cut that allows you to spread the dead money out over multiple years, or at least over 2 years, I should say, there's zero money to be saved. The Eagles don't benefit by cutting Jeffrey. He's coming off lisfranc surgery. He had that in December, mid-early December. The extension didn't pan out very well. It was pretty solid 2017, 2018, then regressed this past year. It's a big-time concern. Now, I'm not convinced Jeffrey plays this year. I mean, even a 9-month recovery time frame puts him healthy at the beginning of the season. He might be an IR candidate. The Eagles might just say, yeah, we got to pay him, we'll put him on IR, cut him next season. That might be the most probable outcome, but I don't think they're going to cut him right now. For Marwin, is Joey Bosa really on the trade block? No, he is not. Most NFL teams are smart and don't trade away their premier young pass rushers, even if they want out. Bosa doesn't want out, just to be clear on that front. He's not going to go anywhere. The Chargers are not going to trade Joey Bosa. Now, Emmanuel Scott had quite a few questions, so we'll break them down here, kind of rapid fire. Antonio Brown to the Eagles is first one. I think it would have made more sense before the Eagles drafted a whole bunch of receivers, including Jalen Reagor, in round 1, so I'm not going to put much stock in his potential return, or at least turn to the state of Philadelphia with the Eagles. LaShawn McCoy to the Cowboys, I don't think it makes sense. He'd be their number 3 back. I don't think McCoy wants that right now in his NFL career. Jamal Adams to the Cowboys, that rumor will not die any point soon, at least until Adams ends up getting, traded or signed to a team, be the Jets or otherwise. He also asks about Dez to the Houston Texans. The Texans have enough number 3, number 2 receivers. Even if you move on from Kenny Stills, you have Fuller and Brandon Cooks. You've drafted other players. I don't think Dez is a fit for what, because Houston, they got bodies at receiver. They don't need Dez. Devonta Freeman was linked to the Bucs. I'm not sure they'll actually go that route, but it does make some sense if they want to add another back to pair with Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn, one with more experience. Everson Griffin, I don't think the Bucs are the fit because they have 2 pass rushers. Of course, you always want more, but you probably don't want to pay 7, 8, whatever the number ends up being, million to your number 3 edge rusher. Andrew Weston says, I say trade Aaron Rodgers to the Buffalo Bills for Jake Fromm. All right, I think that's enough for today's mailbag. That one doesn't really merit a response.